I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
The more you talk, the harder I want to hit you.
I'm happy because of being here today. Fuck you.
Come on, you want me to drive? No. You're supposed to be suicidal, remember? I'll
Anybody
drive.
a drive?
Let's get in the car.
Fucking shit. Fuck me in the fucking ass. Fuck you, you fucking stupid cunt.
Fuck, did this break me a lot. This fucking broke me watching this. Hey everyone, it's Sanjay Corleone here, and I am here with a brand new movie review. And this movie review is gonna be for the recent Stephen King film adaptation that came out last September. And that's gonna be for 2025's The Long Walk. Oh, God. This was this was really fucking hard. Yeah, by my intro, yeah. I'm not kidding. This was a fucking hard movie to get by. But the plot of this movie and the story, in the near future where America becomes this police state, 100 boys or 50 in the movie get selected to enter this annual contest where the winner will be awarded whatever they want for the rest of his life. The game is simple. I dropped it. They have to basically maintain the steady walking pace for 3 miles per hour, and they cannot stop. If they stop, no matter what, either whether your leg gets injured, or even if you get tired, or if you have to go to the bathroom, you're not allowed to stop. If you try either of those things, you get warnings, like from actual literal loud siren warnings from the soldiers that are watching you. If you disobey all 3 warnings, you get a pass with the first 2 warnings, but by the 3rd warning, you're done. You're dead. They shoot you forever, and you're gone forever. Not the normal kind of game over, you're out. You're actually like the game over death. Yeah, this is a hard one. That's my reaction, though. When I saw the trailers, this looked meh. It looked like another Hunger Games, but especially because this guy did direct some good films. Like, the guy did direct Constantine with Keanu Reeves. The guy also directed I Am Legend. But he also did direct some of the Hunger Games movies, which I'm not a fan of that series. I heard the story was very popular, though. It felt like it was just going to be a wait-for-stream movie, and I heard all the buzz of this movie, and I got interested. And finally, I got around to checking it out, and how was this movie? So, this movie, yeah, it's hard to get through, but it is very good. It was also very emotional. Though, it's a good movie, but it's not an easy watch. It's not something I'll probably rewatch a lot. Because I don't know if I really can watch this film multiple times. How was this film made? So it was around 1988 when originally George A. Romero, may rest in peace, was considered to direct the film, but it never came around. By 2007, Frank Darabont secured the rights to the film adaptation of a novel, and he would get to it one day and wanted to make it very low budget and stated that it would be weird, existential, very contained. But it never happened. Sadly, it never happened. Then it was not till April 2018 when New Line Cinema would adapt a film based on a novel, and James Vanderbilt got attached to write and produce the film along with Bradley Fisher and William Scheich through their Mythology Entertainment banner. Then May 2019, Andre Overdahl at the time would direct the adaptation. That never came to fruition either. It was not till November 2023 when Lionsgate Films would eventually get the rights, and Francis Lawrence would be directing a screenplay by J.G. Mulder. Then June 10, 2024, Cooper Hoffman and David Johnson had joined the cast. On taking the part of a young character who lost a father like Hoffman himself, Hoffman said that pretty much trauma would be on display for the world, there's no hiding it, and he would probably talk about it or put it into something. Because if he kept hiding and running from it, it would not be fair who had gone through that. Pretty much that. So then the next month, some other cast members like Garrett Waring, Charlie Plummer, Ben Wayne, Isabel Raven, Jordan Gonzalez, Joshua Aljijic, Roman Griffin Davis, Mark Hamill, Judy Greer joined the cast. After the film was officially shot and completed, The Long Walk would be released in the United States by Lionsgate on September 12, 2025. It got positive reviews from critics, with Hoffman and Johnson receiving praise because I definitely agree, they're easily the best part of the film. And it made decent $63 million worldwide on $20 million budget. So here are the good qualities and the story of The Long Walk. So what makes The Long Walk, despite being a hard movie to get through, still good? The movie is brutal. And it's a shocking way to describe a movie. And easily one of the best modern Stephen King film adaptations in a while. Not brutal as in gory. Brutal as in really depressing. That kind of brutal. It really makes the viewer's stomach twist, and the viewer get nervous at several bits of the film. And by the last quarter, it does well in trying to immerse the viewer, tears in her eyes. And like I had the same effect too. Like, no, it was not just the ending. I had tears in my eyes. I had tears in my eyes of fuckload of scenes, not just the ending. So, like, the movie really cuts right to the heart why any of us choose to get up each morning and walk around all day. Well, I just kind of throwing everything bad at you, or us. It's what you do when you're alive. You walk because you have purpose. And walk in spite of the fact that one day we're not going to be able to walk anymore because our time will be up. So some decide when to quit their walk. Some have their bodies or minds decide for them. Many continue their walk because of those they love picking them up and helping them move forward. The Long Walk does rely heavily on dialogue. Like, the strong performances and emotional depth really keep it engaging and moving at a steady pace. And the beautiful cinematography, the dystopian landscapes, and the soundtrack are also very immersive. And now, some may criticize the lack of forced world building, but I enjoy that. I like that we get more attention to the characters and their motivations, which is like the true purpose of the story. It's not about trying to build the world. The pacing really does ebb and flow at points. Some may say it gets repetitive, but the slower moments, though, still have the genuine heartfelt scenes that really do well hit with the emotional weight. So, how do we start off? So, it takes place on the outskirts of the 20th century where the United States is this military regime following a devastating civil war. The regime gets established to an actual event called the Long Walk that inspires patriotism and work ethic among the destitute. And the country's in the grips of economic depression. 50 teenage boys, and the original story was 100. This one it's 50. One from each state gets chosen randomly, given water and rations, and have to walk hundreds of miles nonstop while armed soldiers watch them and broadcast the event. And even a few people even stop by and watch the whole event too. Many bystanders. And those who fall below 3 miles per hour or stop walking receive 3 warnings, and then they're shot and killed. Cold. And pretty much the walk ends when there's only one survivor remaining. And receives this large cash prize and can have one wish fulfilled. And the sign up is voluntarily, but all eligible young men have to do so every year in hope of improving their families' lives. So, our main character, Ray, who is a year's participant from Maine, is driven by his mother to a storyline near the Canada-United States border. She begs, and this is our first scene of the film. The first scene already had me in tears. Like, a lot of Judy Greer's scenes were easily some of the saddest. She's like begging him to back out, but the deadline to do so already passed. Ray knows he can't, so unfortunately he refuses. And he sees the other participants. Like, this is, before I get to the other participants, like, as soon as this is how the movie starts off, I already knew I was going to be in for a very hard film. So we meet our other participants were Peter McBride, Billy Stebbins, Art Baker, Collie Parker, Gary Barkovich, Hank Olson, Richard Harkness, and our main antagonist, the Major, played by Mark Hamill, who is this mysterious official who oversees the regiment's death squads, starts to walk, and greets the boys from time to time as they proceed southward. And Mark Hamill does a trip. Mark Hamill knows how to play villains. And Mark Hamill portrayed this guy as very hateable as possible. Obviously it's not going to be some victory ending where he gets his comeuppance. No. That's not how it works in this world. This movie isn't trying to do that. A story ending like that would not work. But this character, this guy is a very love-to-hate villain. This guy is very despicable. This guy is very ruthless. This guy has no mercy for any of these participants. The source material is pretty well paced. It is just people walking, but that wouldn't really translate super well for a movie, but some changes would be made. And some would probably expect them to kind of change stuff a little bit up a bit. But the long walk really does commit to the premise entirely. Obviously, you gotta have some changes to make it kind of movie length, but the core of the story is kind of the same, almost in a way. And the whole thing really moves forward continually well. They don't shy away from the grueling repetition nor savageness of the original story that it had. This is directed by the guy who did nearly all the Hungriest movies, but also directed Constantine and I Am Legend. And you think, since he directed the Hungriest movies, and also working with the same studio that he worked out to make them, you'd think they would tone down a movie like this, or try and make it more family-friendly compared to how the story apparently really was. Well, apparently they don't. They still make it just as grim as the actual story. And when it comes to grossing the ways the story really was for a lot of Stephen King fans. It's not one of his more longer books, it's one of his more short stories, but it really did catch viewers' attention. There's some eye-catching shots as well, and the performances are good. I'd say our two main leads give the best performances. Judy Greer also gives a very heartbreaking performance. The abrupt violence is very effective. It's not crazy out of nowhere, but it does happen in most abrupt times. And usually the violence does happen whenever a participant can't do it anymore and then they're killed. Especially with first properly shocking things that happen. And you get a bit of a flashback where there's abruptness of a violent act where one of the main characters got his father killed. The non-walk stuff, though, is kind of kept to a minimum. Most of the film, they're walking on the road. It cuts to mile 1 or mile 3 or mile 5 at a certain time. And during the first day, and you think the walk like this would be easy. Well, no. It is not easy with this kind of walk. They have to walk a certain pace. Some of them even start to suffer injuries, or some of them almost collapse, even. And no matter what, you make one wrong move, you're dead. One bad move, they shoot your ass. Like that. So unfortunately, you don't get any kind of break. Not even a bathroom break. You can't even tie your own shoe. Like I say, one of the shoelaces gets undone, and they're given a warning. Warning. The warnings sound very sinister and robotic. Right there, it actually feels like an actual death signal. And this guy that's trying to tie his shoe almost is the first to be shot. And this had me terrified for this guy. I thought this was going to be the first guy to die. But he thankfully ties his shoe in time before he gets killed. And then comes, our first victim. The first day, though, Ray does get to know the other walkers and forms a bond with our other lead character, Pete, who once again has great chemistry with each other on screen. So our first victim now is a boy named Curly. He develops this Charlie horse in his leg, and Ray and Pete do actually try to save him. But unfortunately, it's not enough. And so basically, after he gets 3 warnings, and he's shot and killed on sight. Then Barkovich gets shunned by the group for provoking this other walker named Rank Sanders into attacking them. And then Rank gets executed. Like, there's even bits where they walk up a hill, and several of them don't last the hill either. Like, it's pretty much several of them get killed off to the point where it's just the two leads left, but more on that later. So the walk continues, and you get some bit from Pete where he says he wants to like improve the world with his wish, and Ray wants this rifle to kill the Major as revenge for killing his father over opposition. That's where you get the flashback bit where you get a bit of flashback with Ray's home life, and then the soldiers raided his house and they kill his father. And Pete hears his wish. He wants to talk Ray out of it because he can't let someone die to win, and wants to just sit down once he's had enough. And as the days pass, more walkers suffer horrific fates. Like one of their legs snaps, and he can't even try to walk. No matter what he does, he just can't do it anymore. So he's out a hill where several of them are shot. Not just one, like several of them can't even go up the hill. They get shot. And what else can I think? Oh yeah. At one point, when they're like walking through a town, one of them actually tries to run to this diner for food, and he's shot. One of them does try going to the bathroom. He's almost shot, but Ray and Pete basically abruptly finish off his bathroom break, and they basically get him back on the road before he can be shot. And then, of course, Ray and Pete pass by his mom, and when Ray tries to go up and apologize to his mom, this is another heartbreaking scene. Where this bit, she basically tells him to frantically screams for him to keep walking as he's given his warnings, and Pete even holds him back to keep him walking on the road. And pretty much doesn't want him to die in front of his own mother if he's going to try to get himself killed. That's another heartbreaking scene that also has me in tears. Like, I'm not kidding when I say this whole movie had me in tears. Then Hank eventually starts to get really delirious and attacks some of the soldiers, but then they shoot him, overpower him, and they let him bleed to death. And they find out he actually was married, and they're going to send money to his widow when they get their riches. And go. Alright, what else can I think? Sorry about that. Barkovich then feels guilt over Hank's death and his exclusion from the pact, and so he begs to join them, and Ray agrees, but he has this mental breakdown and stabs himself in the throat with a spoon. The Long Walk is this film that does bring Kane's twisted imagination to life, and at least it sustains in a runtime that are given with 108 minutes. A realistic atmosphere, a dystopian future that definitely would not seem distant at all, could bring the scariness to life, like, without CGI at all. The elements of this whole dystopian really do hit home, and Kane's story really holds components from the movie's weight in our mind. There's the strong cinematography, the filters appropriately get chosen to bring the full feeling behind the moments with these textures and foreboding shadows of the night, dynamic angles that really give you the horrors of the moment in full light, and finding the best angles to convey the inevitable and crush your spirit when the bang goes off. And each of these boys has a different motivation, character quality, mannerism, and backstory. Some are relevant to the world we do live in today. A few do get the true layered effect, and the movie accomplishes mostly assembled walkers with some characteristics to keep them separate, and some of the secondary characters do get their qualities in dialogue that's like realistic, intelligent, and poetic. That is kind of hard to achieve in a lot of modern films today, but it does it well here. It's not like trying to be some like grand with the Oscar bait speech, but it's speeches that are actually very relevant. And there you do get a little bit of comedy in the dialogue, but it doesn't like overhawk up the movie. It is somewhat comedy that's slightly needed in minor bits, maybe to at least kind of like calm you down after every contestant gets eliminated. Not like slapstick venue, but it's the right amount of touch to mirror like some messages in the movie as well. The backstories of the characters have a lot of merit. They hold these ideals and approachable goals they see the youth holding on to when they get forced into this long walk. And the acting that brings it to life, all the performances are great in this movie. Like Ray and Pete, I really love their friendship in this film. Like Cooper Hoffman gets a great lead performance that brings empathy and determination to his character, a character that's very tragic and you can feel sorry for. David Johnson is also phenomenal. He really hides his pain beneath his genuine kindness that steals the whole film. But also, you got Ben Wayne and Toot Yacht with them. They also form a strong core four with the emotional beats that really land. And the banter offers a lot of needed humor. You even get this bit where they're kind of referencing Three Musketeers. The one's like, how could... But there's four of us. How could there be three Musketeers if there's four of us? Or... Like, Francis Lawrence gets a fitting choice to really helm this and turn the mundane act of, like, walking to in this never-ending nightmare when the violence can arrive quickly and in disturbing detail and not trying to reveal the shocking stuff. So now Ray, Pete, Stebbins, Art, and Collie remain. And then you get the bit where they walk through walk through Ray's hometown and he sees his mother that I mentioned. But he almost gets killed, gets saved by Pete. Then eventually Collie steals a rifle, shoots a soldier, kills himself after being wounded. Art then develops this hemorrhage and thanks Pete and Ray for being his friends before he stops. And sees that Stebbins fell ill, reveals to Ray and Pete that he's one of the Major's many sons. And he tends to use this wish to be taken to his father's house. And that was an honor to walk them before he stops. And so then he's killed. And now it's Ray and Pete as the final two walkers. It does have a timeless feel to it. And the details how the world goes are kept vague. So you aren't questioning the setup too much. It tells you when it takes place, and that's all you kind of need to know. What's going on in the world of this movie right now. The story still does feel relevant today, like I have said. It is perfectly paced. I was not bored the whole time. The Long Walk's not one of the longer Stephen King books, but it's not too short the filmmakers would have to change to make it feature length. Like sometimes they have with a lot of modern, they're more worse modern film adaptations. Garrity and McBride's are where the heart of the story lies. You really do feel for their characters. You really do feel bad for their characters as well. And you want both Ray and Peter to succeed. The background score is perfectly placed as well, and it really helps build the atmosphere. It doesn't overdo the atmosphere. The direction feels confident, and the pacing is slow, but the walk is supposed to be kind of slow. That's kind of the whole point of it. So now we get on with the finale, and so with these two left, it's the evening of the fifth day, and they've walked 331 miles, or 533 kilometers, and they go to a city with this crowd. They're all waiting to see who's going to win and who's going to die last. At first, it looks like Pete's going to decide to sacrifice himself, but Ray goes back for him, tells him to keep going, and is not going to leave him to die, but Pete originally wants Ray to win this. But then pretty much, though, he agrees eventually. But then as soon as he lifts Pete up, the horrifying thing you see, Ray's the one who stops walking instead. And the soldiers shoot him, and Pete is horrified to tears by this. And he tells why he did this, and he wants Pete to win this one. And then he apologizes to his mom for letting himself die before the Major. It's like, may God reward you for your bravery. And then pretty much executes Ray. And this had me crying a lot. Like, this was one of the saddest endings to a movie in a very long time. One of the most tragic endings of the 2020s. Like, what makes it more tragic is that the fact that apparently the whole crowd actually cheers that Ray died, just as Pete breaks down sobbing as well. Like, they don't give a shit how Pete feels. They're pretty much cheering that he won. They're basically cheering that the last walker died. And then the Major congratulates Pete as the winner, and he gets the cash prize. And when he's asked to state his wish, he pretty much then is consumed by vengeance and carries out Ray's plan by asking for the carbine and then pretty much tells Major this is for Ray and kills the Major with it. And then he goes to the now empty Sound Street and he continues walking. And that's where the credits roll. And well, there is an alternate ending where he doesn't kill the Major though, and he said drops the carbine outside and he just walks disillusioned from his wish. And it's revealed that he begins mailing 3 envelopes with cash each month. One to Hank's widow, Ray's mother, Art's grandmother. The last one receipts Art's rosary and cross that he had given to Ray before deciding to stop. But the one they used was the one where he kills Major. But either way, that's how the long walk ends. So, and it's not a happy ending. It is a straight up downer ending. Ray and the other 48 walkers are all dead. Ray's mother, her husband's dead, her son's dead. She's all alone now, and when she you can imagine the mess she is going to be when she realizes her son died. You can definitely tell she is going to be an uncontrollable mess, probably for life. And Pete then pretty much uses his wish to get revenge by killing the Major, not doing good with it like he had hoped. And the long walk, it's never going to stop from happening in the future. And Pete may be rich and is allowed to walk free, but know what this actually does, but judging by that empty street, it's actually just a dying hallucination he has. Because maybe it could be 2 ways. If he did die, he either died from the strain of the walk, or if he survived the walk, after killing the Major, the soldiers killed him. Very likely the soldiers killed him. Because the street's empty, the crowd's gone, the soldiers aren't there. He walks down this empty street where there's no one around, so he's dead. Whatever, I dropped it again, but whatever. He's gone. And that's how it sadly ends. Ray sacrificed himself for Pete to win the walk, but it was sadly, it just got rendered pointless in the end because people likely died anyway. Alright, so now do I have any bad qualities? Now, some may not like that we don't get much world building, and we don't know how this long walk started, but you're not really supposed to. There are some character decisions that do get a little left field, and it does happen quite a few times. And there is some repetitiveness, like the movie is them walking the whole time. The setting is pretty desolate. They do different things though with the camera to catch your attention. There are some times you don't know too much of the other walkers apart from the main 4. Other than those, the long walk, I mean to say, is a good modern Stephen King film adaptation. So in the end, The Long Walk is definitely worth buying for your Stephen King film collection for sure, because it is a emotionally hard but very good film adaptation. And keep in mind, it is a very hard film to get through, so I wouldn't be surprised if you just stream it and don't really plan on buying it. Anyways, guys, that's it for my review of The Long Walk. And if you're wondering how to rate The Long Walk, here's how I'm going to rate this movie. So overall, if you want to see one of the better modern film adaptations of Stephen King, then I'll totally watch it by The Long Walk for your collection for sure, no doubt. Just be warned, it's not a very rewatchable film. It is very hard to get through. And if you're wondering how to rate The Long Walk, I'm going to give The Long Walk an 8 out of 10. Alright, there we go, guys. Now officially wraps up the long-awaited review for The Long Walk. And this is going to go back. Now, I want to know in the comments down below what you guys thought about The Long Walk if you saw it. Whether you love this movie, whether you thought it was just meh. Or whether if you thought of the film it was just too hard to enjoy. And until then, guys, that will be it for this review. Thank you all for watching. And if you like this and want to see more, don't forget to subscribe to Don G. Corleone.